Alright, are we up? Mike, ready. Hey, green, done. Ohayo gozaimasu. Hey, good morning, guys. Ground control. Okay, here's the tool today. There's the number one tool. Traditional ancient Japanese tools. If you saw a Monday stream, then you probably know what I'm going to be doing today. It's not so much interesting for those of you who are going to watch, but it's got to be done, I'm sorry. And we'll try and mix it up with some other stuff. I've got some printmaking work to do, but before that, I've got to do this job. Of course, what these are finally, after a year of preparation, or a year of thinking about it and a few weeks of preparation, these share certificates are ready. These are the certificates going to our Patreon supporters, the top level Patreon supporters. They're good fun. I know, are they woodblock printed? Are they inkjet printed? Who knows? Looks to me like they're woodblock printed, of course. But as those of you who know what's going on, this part, the central part, is printed by woodblock. The surrounding area is done by inkjet, and they're printed on washi from the Awagami company. And it's turned out quite well. We were able to print a good woodblock work with them. It's a bit thin for our taste, but it's okay. And the inkjet part came out perfect because that's what the paper is meant for. They do look really, really nice. So I've got to send out the first batch this afternoon, so it's my job now to sign these. And what we're going to do is they're all going to get numbered and dated with the person's name on. And if I can do this without screwing things up, and we're going to number them. These will be the first prints we've ever sent that are numbered, because this is going to be an ongoing project. For every month now, as long as our Patreon campaign is running, every month now some of these will go out. And the people who get these are the people who have supported at the $25 level for a year or more. So the ones that are going to go out this month are the people who signed up a year ago. Then next month, the people who get it will be the ones that signed up, 1 month later, and out they go. And this is the very first one, and You asked to be reminded to tell Cameron to find out about the Gampi paper maker. So here we go. I know there's room for a number. Should I just start number 1, number 2? I think I'll do... How many digits are we going to get up to? I think I'll use 4 digits. I think we'll do it like this. We'll do it 0, 0, 0, 1. And this was the first person who joined the Patreon campaign. I guess we're going to see names on the stream here. I don't know if this is okay or not. I don't know. My guess is it's okay. And we're just going to use today's date for these. This 13th day of June 2018, and my signature. And what we'll do for sending these out, we've got a set of I had a sample here somewhere. I've lost it already. Oh, here. We've got plastic clear cards like this to protect these things while they're being shipped. Once people get them, they'll do whatever they want with them. But for protecting them during shipping, they're going to go in a plastic clear case like this, and that will go in a stiff card A4 mailing envelope with, of course, the name and stuff outside. So people will get them in this, and they can keep them in that for preservation if they like, or they can take it out and do what they want with it. And what I've got today, I've got about 24 of them. But if I zoom out a bit, zoom in a bit, zoom out a bit, I don't know, whatever, no idea. Should we go through the writing? Is it worth it? It's a bit funny. We try to make it a bit funny. It's, sharing the fun certificate. And this is to certify that person's name has demonstrated by support of our activities over the past 12 months through, but not limited to, our ongoing Patreon campaign a desire to help us succeed in our efforts to have the ancient craft of traditional Japanese printmaking flourish and be disseminated widely around the world. The financial assistance to Mokuhankan provided through this campaign has helped us support both our group of young developing craftsmen and women and our ongoing struggle to obtain high-quality materials for producing prints. It is thus with heartfelt appreciation that I sign this certificate, dated this 13th day of June 2018. It's funny, whatever, it's not a legal document, but we wanted to just try and make it something nice for people to have. So I better get going here. I've got about 20 of these to sign. Whatever. 20 of these to sign. And then on to some real printmaking work. And that printmaking work this morning will also be something that you've never seen before. So if you can hang on for a half an hour or so, we'll get to that part of it as well. And in the meantime, this is empty-headed work, so if you've got questions, throw me at me and we can get something going here. This shouldn't take me long to do this. I forgot the number. Ha, 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 ha. Spell somebody's name here too. Oh, I might ask questions, but okay, that's where it's going to go, is it? All right, just a sec. I have to be really careful I don't make any spelling mistakes here. So let's do a few of these at a time and then look at whatever's in the question box there. Okay, this question's questions. The Blood and Thunder print. Now you better link to it. Can we see a close-up of the Fuji print? You mean the print that's here? It's just a clip from a very famous Hokusai design. Actually, it's got some embossing. You can't see it in this bad light here, but it embosses well. It's the famous print called Red Fuji, Aka Fuji. The Blood and Thunder. Hi. What would I need to do in order to attempt it? I'm not sure what I can say. I know it's doable. Of course it's doable. I know it would be a really, really nice print. I know the problem is the number of colors it takes and the number of gradations. I didn't count them, but there's like, 25 gradations or so, and they overlap on each other. There would be a great number of wasted sheets. So it just simply isn't economical for us to take on such a project. We would sell X number of them, but nowhere near enough that we could cover the costs. When I say things like that, people say, okay, no problem, just do a Kickstarter campaign and it makes sure you've got enough money to cover it. But it's not just so simple. It's a question of how we allocate our resources. I know the last couple of Ukiyo-e Heroes prints we've made, for example, the one Jed calls Meteoric Power and stuff like that, they were difficult, but a reasonable level of difficulty. But we also, what can I say? It's not just the first batch we make. It goes into our catalog and it will be productive for us for many, many years to come. if I spend the resources to make that Blood and Thunder print, we can cover our cost perhaps through a Kickstarter campaign. But then you've got this hugely difficult set of blocks sitting on in your catalog here, and you run out of them, you've got to print it again, and how are you going to cover your costs again the next time around? There's so many spoiled copies. I think we've got one here for somebody who's watching this morning. This is number 0006, the sixth person who joined that Patreon campaign. And this is, it was a bit unfair, we just started it, and whoever happened to be awake at the time. The globe is a round globe, and some people were asleep. So the first people in this Patreon campaign were people who happened to be awake while we did it, when we started it. David B, it's not my own name here. There you are, one of our Twitch viewers this morning, getting his certificate number 0006. Draw an owl on this. I can't, I'll just screw it up. I can't draw stuff, you're asking the wrong guy. How do you draw an owl? No, I can't do that. It's just going to screw things up. No. It looks like a cat. I can't. No. You've got it. It's okay. It's numbered and named. There's stuff I can do and there's stuff I can't do. Just kidding. Good. 007. Who's 007? 0007. Yeah, another one of those mysterious ukiyo animals. So those guys couldn't draw animals worth anything. Here's number 8. Who's this? Yet another Dave. There's a lot of us out there. I can't draw an owl, whatever. We've each got our own skill set, and it's a question of practicing, of course. Who's this? Okay, actually, there is something else I can ask you guys. I know there's lots of changes happening here the last few days. We've had some visits from paper makers and providers of mulberry fiber. There's a million pictures for me to take and to upload for you. We had a paper makers summit here on Monday afternoon. 5 guests, four guests, whatever. I don't know. A man called Moriki-san, who is a paper wholesaler here in Tokyo. He's been really concerned about the future of Japanese paper making, and he's really trying to do what he can to help tie these things together and keep it together. Partly for his own self-interest, of course, and partly because he thinks it's a sensible thing to do. So Moriki-san is the core of a thing that's developing here. He came here on Monday afternoon. He brought with him Imai-san, who lives in Niigata Prefecture, who grows mulberry fiber, and whose mulberry fiber is that stuff that you saw in the picture I showed you the other day that we have downstairs. We have 80 kilograms of his fiber here right now. Just a minute, I can't know, process too many things in my brain at one time. Just a sec. Moriki-san brought with him two foreigners here. One of whom is living in Tokyo at the moment, and he spent quite a number of years, 4, 5, or 6, or 7 years, up in Fukui Prefecture doing research and studying on Japanese papermaking. He was here on a Japanese government scholarship, what they call Monbu Kagakusho, partly supported by the Japanese government, doing research on papermaking. The other gentleman, Nicholas, he's been actually living in Fukui Prefecture, learning how to actually do this, to make paper. He's been in Iwano-san's workshop, X workshop, Y workshop. He's been studying, digging in, researching, taking notes, trying to figure out how it's done, trying to learn how it's done. And he is now in the process of looking for a building in the papermakers' village to rent, and he has already started to accumulate and gather together the tools, the buckets, the nets, the different hammers, all the different things that are necessary for making Japanese paper. He is ready to open his own workshop. Just a sec here. So these people were here on Monday afternoon to talk about, is there any way that there can be a market for the paper that they are producing? We ourselves, well, there's just too many stories here all tied together. How can I? Long story short, there's going to be some new paper being made up in the old papermaking village of Fukui Prefecture. Some of it might be usable for us here in our workshop. Probably at the beginning, most of it will not be usable for us here in the workshop. It might have a bit too much bark. It might be a tiny bit too uneven. It might not be made to our perfect standards, because these people who are trying to set up this new workshop are not 100 years of experience yet. So the thing I need to ask you guys, the thing I'm sort of putting out here as a flyer is, we're going to contract for a bunch of paper being made here, and a lot of it will probably not be usable here in our own workshop. You can see where I'm going with this. We are going to start, obviously, now selling this paper out to people around the world who want a source of, if not the world's best paper, they want a source of good, basic, stable paper that's going to be the same in each batch and that will make decent woodblock prints at a reasonable price. And we're trying to figure out how we can get this worked out. And the first batches of paper are going to start coming through from these people within the next few months. And we're going to be putting this into our catalog after we've tested it and tested it and tested it. And what I need to know, or what kind of feedback I need, is what kind of dimensions would be usable for people in your environment making paper. The reason I've got to ask this is because of the sizing problem. One of the basic dimensions of paper we're going to be receiving is what's called a kikuban size. If you imagine a piece of paper 99 centimeters by 65 centimeters. That's quite big. That's about 3 feet or so wide and say about 2 feet deep, somewhere on there. I don't know the inches. It's 99 by 65. But it's too big to be sized in one piece. So we have to either cut it in half and size it, giving a piece that's 65 by, what's half of 99? Like half of 100 is 50, half of 99 is 48, right? 65 by 48. Or we could cut it in 3. Giving it pieces that are 65 by, that's an easy one, 33. Now we don't know what kind of sizes and dimensions of prints most people overseas are going to be wanting to experiment and play with. So my problem is I can get the paper at that large dimension, but if I'm going to size it here and pass it on, it's going to have to be cut into smaller pieces. But we can't cut it into like little print-sized pieces and size it. The sizing has to be done in medium-sized pieces. Anyway, long story short, if I prepare a list somewhere of sample sizes that we can use and put it up there, I'd need to know which is the most useful size dimensions for people overseas. But this is big news, actually, you know. A brand new workshop opening in a paper-making village that's been in operation for hundreds of years. And he doesn't know about this, but when the last time a new workshop opened, nobody in the village has any such memory of such a thing happening ever within their lifetimes. Of course, because, you know, they're all family-run businesses and they just keep going, keep going, keep going. Workshops close. And over the past decades, workshops have been closing, dropping like flies. But a new workshop starting up, this is a really, really big deal. Number 13, is this a good number or a bad number? Who knows? I'm not paying much attention to what's going on here, I'm sorry. The price is going to be very competitive because as a beginner workshop, they're not expecting to make a ton of money. They're going to cover their costs, get some experience, and build the skills. Here's another one. I think this gentleman might be watching this morning here. Who knows? I got a bit of a problem here. A name is long, long, long names. How am I going to do this? Get it in this space. Do it in 2 layers here. Would that be a good idea? Or just write smaller? This is very small writing. I think I should just write smaller. Let's see. Yeah, it fits. Made it. Are you there, sir? If not here, you'll probably be watching on video on demand later today. How thick are the inks when printing? Would they run down the block if it was tipped? That's an interesting question, and I can't give you a standard general answer. The answer is yes and no. I know the amount of pigment and product that we put on the block when we are printing depends completely on what kind of result we want in the finished print. For something that was coming up this deep and this rich, the pigment is swabbed on and there's no way it will be running down the block. It wouldn't be that watery because we need this much deep. If it was something we were printing of about this texture, very, very light color, then yes, it could run on the block. maybe the best way for you to do this is to head to our YouTube channel, and you can see a bunch of those things. I one I put up just a few weeks ago on a proofing the serpent snake print. You can see exactly the texture of the pigment going onto the block. What am I doing here? Just keep track. 17. I got to make sure. 17. Okay, this is another long one here. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Good. Got it. Okay, not too many more. Well, it's only about 24 here, this first batch, so just hang on, guys. We'll get to some printmaking work in a few minutes. This is another Twitch viewer. I think whether he's here this morning or not, I don't know, sir, if you are. This gentleman is not a Twitch viewer, but a long time friend, support of our work for decades. Literally decades. Okay, how many more we got left? About 7 or 8 left, I think. Not sure. Oh, another. There's 3 in a row here. Bang, bang, bang. That are all. In fact, this one, I know. I can tell you, it's okay. This is Doi-san. He's working for us here these days. Questions, questions, questions. Do I go through antique stores? No. No. We don't buy at retail. There's no way we can buy prints that are in the retail market. We have to sell at retail at fair prices. And if you go through like the flea markets over in the Sunday afternoon flea market and stuff, those guys are crazy. No, but you can't get any bargains there at all. Just a second, let me get this name. We buy, there's 2 main sources for the prints we get for our flea market section. One is the professional dealer auctions here in Tokyo. There are auctions that the normal people can't go inside. I can't go inside. I don't have a license, and I'm not a member of the Antique Dealers Associations. You need a license for that sort of stuff, and I don't have it. And also, you have to pay to be a member of those associations, and very, very heavy entrance fees. But one of our associates, Ueda-san, who's working for us here, does have a license and access to those auctions. And what they are is it's stuff that's collected from all over the country, and it's twice a week they have these auctions. And they've got this large room covered with tables, and different dealers bring stuff in, and different wholesalers bring stuff in, and people like used book dealers who have had somebody come in the door with an album of old prints, and the book dealer has no idea what this is worth. It could be junk, it could be Sotheby's level Utamaro prints. So they lay these things out all over the tables. They're all identified with numbers, and there's a little envelope on each one. And the people who are perusing these to buy, our agent among them, goes through and looks at this and looks at this, says, yeah, I could get that, and he writes a bid and puts it in the envelope. Nobody else can see the bid. It's all secret. And at the end of the session, this happens twice a week, at the end of the session, the staff gathers it together, looks at the bids, and bang, you've got it or you don't have it. So we buy stuff at that level quite a lot, a couple of times a week. We're going through, our agent goes through there. Just a minute, let me go what I'm doing. So it's one main source of supply for us. And another source of supply, it's interesting, it's a completely public open area, Yahoo Auctions here in Japan. We buy quite a bit of stuff from there. And it's funny, we're buying it there, and any of our customers could be doing the same thing. Any of our customers could go to Yahoo Auctions and make bids and do stuff. But for Westerners, of course, it's difficult to approach. Oh, a bit of a long here, just a minute here. So anyway, so Yahoo Auctions is actually a source for us. And the problem with me buying there, of course, is, remember, again, I have to sell the finished prints, the prints we get, I have to sell them at a good, fair price. So that means in order to run our business and, to make a profit and to pay all the staff, I have to buy much, much, much lower than that. So when I'm buying in a public venue like Yahoo Auctions, it's sometimes difficult. The prices in an open auction will tend to rise to the value of the product. And I can't buy it for the value of the product. If I have to be able to sell it for a fair value, I can't buy it at a fair value. So we watch Yahoo Auctions, but there's many, many, many times when I have to give up because it just goes too high. It still might go to a fair price, but again, as I said, I can't pay a fair price for it if I'm going to sell it for a fair price. So Yahoo Auctions is sometimes very frustrating. We've got 9 more here, then we'll be done with this for a while. Okay, thanks for your patience here. Yes, there's no sniping on Yahoo Auctions for the most part. Sellers can have a snipe type auction, but of course they'd be crazy to do that. Sellers have the non-sniping function turned on. So there's no sniping in Yahoo here. Anytime you add a bid, it adds 5 minutes, and it sends an email to everybody else who has bid saying, we're still up and running here, do you want to think about putting a new bid in? So sellers love that. Buyers, of course, don't. But that's the way they do it. The other problem with Yahoo Auctions, it's a real big problem, of course, is that Japan being a very damp country, there's lots of prints that have been in storage here for years and years and years that are moldy. They're foxed or they're molded. Quite often you get a print set, and the people selling them, they perhaps don't even open all 20 or 30 or 40 prints in the set. And they'll just describe it, yeah, these are okay, basically good condition. And when you get it, you'll find that half of them are molded or foxed beyond belief. And you start your claim and back and forth, and away you go. And there's another problem. It's funny, actually. You learn to sort of try and avoid these. A kid will be cleaning up his house, whatever, granddad died or something, and the kid's cleaning up, whatever, and he finds a bunch of stuff, and he looks up on the internet, and oh my God, he thinks he's found some Mutamoto prints that are worth $50 million or whatever, So, and it turns out that they're offset printed junk, but he doesn't know this because people don't know what prints are, whatever. So the descriptions are, how can I say this? The descriptions are optimistic for the most part, and you really have to try and figure out what it is you're looking at. Is it a real woodblock print? When was it made? What kind of condition is it in? But yeah, we get some nice stuff on Yahoo Auction sometimes, and every now and then we get a real treasure. Every now and then. Another long one here. Gotta be careful with spelling these names, you know. If I make a mistake here, it's awful. Oh, now we got a problem here. Okay, and this next one's okay. And then this next one is different. It's special. This one is different. This one is going to go out posthumously. The man here supported my work for a very, very long time. I don't even remember how many years, whatever, somewhere around 2000, so 17, 18 years. He not only bought prints, he corresponded. Good fun. We never actually met each other. A lot of correspondence. He was making prints himself as a hobby, and he sent me every single print he made, asking for advice, not in a heavy, you know, in a friendly way, back and forth. He worked for a major computer company in the northeast of America there. Really super friendly guy, super intelligent. He was friends to a number of other printmakers over there, Matt Brown and Lenita Shimizu. He bought a ton of their prints, supported their work. Just an all-around good guy, working with his hands also to try and make prints, having good fun with it, putting his money on the table to support people like me and Matt and Lenita. And he was ready to retire, I guess, next year, and looking forward to spending a lot of time making prints in his retirement. And then I got an email from Lenita mentioning that this gentleman had suddenly passed away. I think it was pancreatic cancer, and you know the way that works. You don't know it's there, you don't know it's there, you don't know it's there, and then you're in the last stages of a terminal illness. And he didn't even have time to write to me or anybody. So I owe him the certificate. He'll never see it, and I'm not sure if it's something I should just drop on his wife. She may not appreciate that. So what I'll do is I'll get in touch with Lenita, who does know the family, and I'll maybe send this to her. And if she does have contact with his family, she can maybe pass it on or not. Posthumous certificates. He was such a cool guy. Whatever. Live day by day. Enjoy your day by day. Because you never know how much you've got left. Okay, almost done. Two more left in this first batch. Oh, another long name here. Let's try. and the last one for today. And from now on, there's going to be a few each month. I won't do them online all the time, of course. It won't be a normal part of our business. But this is just the first batch, the catch-up batch, the people who've been supporting us for a year on Patreon at that level. From now on, there'll be 3 or 4 or 5 going each month, because that's, you know, the number of people who are starting. Okay, there we go. Thanks for your patience while I did that. My next job now is I've got to trim them all. I don't know if perhaps you noticed or not. The inkjet printers can't print to the edge of the physical sheet. And what we've done with these is we've printed not just the text and lettering, we've printed also, let me zoom in a bit on here, we've printed the background texture of the paper. And actually the background texture has been printed by inkjet right across the surface of the woodblock print. So what you see is these clouds here. It's not white paper, it's background printed texture. It works really, really, really well. And there is the bare paper itself. Like I said, we couldn't print right to the edge because that's not how inkjet printers work. So what I'm going to do next now with each one of these, and I've done one as a sample, is I'm going to trim off that area around the outside to leave just this. And it makes it appear totally as though that background texture is not something printed, but it makes it look like that's the texture of the washi paper itself. It comes out really, really, really nicely. I tell you, people at some future time, when they dig this out of a used print bookshop or something, wherever they find it, they're going to turn it over. Yep, look at that. You can see Baron marks. It's woodblock printed. Then they're going to turn it over. What the hell? How does this work? It's going to be really, really curious. It's a mixed media production. Anyway, there we go. Let me now get back to some printmaking work today here, and something that you haven't seen before, I think. Excuse me a minute while I get myself organized here. What time is it? 8:43. Good, we're about halfway through the session today. Okay. What do I need on my table? I will need my non-skid mat. I don't questions, no idea, huh? So we need a wood block. And what we're going to use here, this is the microwave block face down. So I'm going to work on the back of it here. I'm going to work on the back of this wood block. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Let's clear off some space here, excuse me. If you pledged last July, then yeah, you'll get one bang as it comes around this July, of course. Okay, tonight, what I'm going to do is this. We are speaking about Yahoo Auctions, and we got a bunch of stuff last week on Yahoo Auctions. What this is really quite rare. We haven't had these before. This is already in the plastic ready for our flea market. What they are is it's a set of prints that was published, I don't have documentation. All I can say is 1960s or something like that, somewhere around the 1960s, maybe late 50s, maybe into the early 70s, I don't know. And you couldn't do these days. It's just too much work. These are reproductions of paintings. 8:45. Camera's on, I guess, can I? So these are reproductions of paintings, but done in actual woodblock work. Everything is carved, and look at the detail. Tiny, tiny, tiny detail, gradations, bokashi everywhere. It's gradations added just roughly with the brush. Good morning, Cameron-san. Hello. I just finished doing the, I signed the first batch of share certificates, so nice. They can now go out. That's the job. I've been doing boring work. They've been sitting here picking their noses while I've been signing share certificates. And now we're going to get some printmaking work, sort of printmaking work.
Are they trying to find what these prints are this time?
No. I know what these are. In fact, I know everything. It's not really a show and tell. I've got some work to do on these. What I was just trying to explain was this. I know each of these prints, they're in pretty good condition. They're preserved very, very well. But what they've done, the printer who made them, he didn't care. Let's look at this. You see what it is here? The where the print goes in the registration
Oh, yeah.
marks. Because these prints had color all the way to the background, they smeared the registration marks.
Huh.
Now, what I've been doing with our own prints, the girls upstairs, they know to try and cover that corner.
Yeah.
But as you know, prints we buy from some of those outside printers, they just couldn't care less.
Yes.
And this guy couldn't care. And
Huh.
usually what I've been doing is I've been putting them in the shop as is, and I don't care myself. But tons of people in the shop, why is this print so dirty? What's wrong? Why is it a defect? So from a typical consumer who is not a print collector, who doesn't
Yeah.
know woodblock prints, this is a defective print.
Interesting.
So I can tell them, no, that just shows it's handmade.
Yeah.
It just sounds like I'm some used car salesman. Don't worry about that scratch. It's all, whatever, blah, blah, blah,
It
blah,
shows
blah.
it's been loved. It's
Yeah, whatever. So it's a question of viewpoint. I
that
myself,
grunt in the engine.
I grok exactly how it was made. It's okay.
Right.
But remember, we're not dealing with print collectors in our shop here. We're dealing with tourists, and they're looking for a beautiful object.
Yeah.
So it turns out that because of my specialized tool here, bring in the microscope, if the paper's thick enough, what I can do is I can fix this.
Surgery.
Let's take this out of the plastic bag. I should have done these before. In fact, you can help me. I'll pass you
Okay.
these bags one at a time.
Leave the labels in the bags, right?
Yeah. I'm going to do this. Let me zoom in a bit here. Let me get this sorted out. And we can see Dr. Bull at work here.
Dr. Bull.
If I can find the spot, I can zoom in here.
Dr. Horrible.
Dr. Horrible, yeah. Which one do I use here? So, am I zoomed in? Can we see it? All right, let's try this. I got to be careful. This is a mica print. It's got Umo powder. I can't really smack it.
Huh.
Oh, should we take the computer over there? Because
Sure.
I can't. Also,
Oh no.
the stream, the speed.
Yeah.
I didn't actually tell him the story about that.
Oh, okay. How is it?
Let me just pop it up here. And have you have you ever seen an upload number like that before?
I have not.
Take it away. They're going to yell at me for being too obnoxious.
Well, whatever he did, he fixed
I have
it
no
or
idea
something.
whether they did something at that end or
Yeah.
not. I haven't.
Dave Y!
told- What's that?
And they wrote Dave Y, showing the numbers again. Wow, upload, I'm done. And up already, holy.
But actually, I didn't tell the story what happened. We
Yeah.
had. I guess we can tell us while I do this.
Yeah.
Monday stream was upstairs on the 3rd floor.
Mm-hmm.
And usually the stream is here on the 2nd floor on the what we've been doing in recent. You can show this. You can
Yeah.
hold the cable up. We mentioned this. Oh no, you've got enough slack. Don't stretch that cable too far, Cameron. So. Oh no.
The cable.
To avoid having Wi-Fi problems, we don't use Wi-Fi for streaming anymore.
Right.
I link directly to the router, which is at the other end of the building.
Yeah.
So I bought a 20-meter Ethernet cable,
It's like
plugged it in.
65 feet for the Americans.
Okay, whatever. And it worked really fine.
Yeah.
And I bought a Cat 6A cable.
Yeah.
But what I made a tiny mistake. Well, it wasn't a mistake. I bought one that rolled up easily. So this is a fairly flexible, loose cable,
Mhm.
even though it's still a Category 6A. Anyway, long story short, Monday stream was on the 3rd floor. I thought, I don't want to go back to using Wi-Fi. I want to actually, have it
Wired in,
Yeah,
yeah.
wired in. So I took the same cable and threw it out the window of the 3rd floor, hang it down the front of the building, scooped it into the 2nd floor window, plugged it into the router.
Yeah.
No problem. It was a rainy day, but I wiped it all off. No problem. And not yesterday's stream, 2 days ago stream, the one you saw me upstairs printing share certificates, was done with that system.
It was very fast, very nice.
Yeah, so no problem. Totally normal. At the end of the stream, I didn't clean up. I left it sitting there because I was thinking of doing a guerrilla stream that evening for more of the share certificate printing. Cut to the afternoon. It's about 2:30 in the afternoon. So I think Kawai-san and I are doing a print party. It's a rainy day. It got this, it got that. He wanted to turn the air conditioner on. So he turned the air conditioner on and he slammed the window shut. And my Ethernet cable was in the window. And I saw him do it and I yelled, but I wasn't fast enough, and bang,
Somebody
the window
checked.
slammed shut. And my beautiful Category 6A Ethernet cable got crimped, two corners where the window banged it into the socket. I couldn't yell at him. I wouldn't yell at him anyway, but I couldn't yell at him because we were doing the print party. But once the
Yeah.
print party was over, I came running upstairs. The Ethernet connection was still there. It was still connected. What was I getting? I forget.
That's
20
20
megabits per
or
second.
megabits, yeah, per second.
So the connection was hosed. I was getting like 10% of what we had
less.
previously had.
It was bad.
So, but this was Monday afternoon, and I knew there's no stream Tuesday. So I got time. I can do this. I jump on Amazon, order another cable,
Nice big long cable.
and this time a fatter one, a stronger, more armored cable, but
Yeah.
still category 6A. It arrived yesterday. What was it? Yesterday morning or something? Yesterday afternoon? I can't remember. Plug it in, and it didn't change anything. We were still
Same
only
speed.
back to our original speeds. So I don't want to make the long story too long. You and I yesterday, how many hours did we spend with this? What did we do to get our speed back? So we swapped out the cables, we swapped out the connectors, we swapped out computers, we restarted the router. I can't count how many times. I spent about 3 hours on it yesterday, and I couldn't recover the internet speed. So crimping that cable somehow seemed to have crimped our internet service, even when you put a new cable back in.
The hold up.
So I have no idea what happened.
Yeah.
We
But the upload speeds were still
The up-
unbelievably fast.
It wasn't 700 like
It wasn't
it was
700.
about half of that. But so the upload speed was crimped by about half, and the download speed had been crimped by to about 10%.
Yeah.
But even after putting a new cable back
Yeah.
and restarting the computer and trying a different computer, we tried 3 different computers, yours,
We
mine,
did.
and the-
Yep.
So I checked with my provider. Any problem? Nope, no maintenance, nothing going on.
And then this morning, it's all back to normal with
It's all
both
back to normal.
cables.
But what we did do, we phoned the telecom company, NTT, not to complain, but to ask, like, guys, is there maintenance going on or something? What's happening? And they had no
Okay.
answer.
Internet fairies are at it again.
Okay, do you see what I'm doing here? Because this washi is nice and thick and fluffy, I can actually shave off that dirty crap on the front. Not all of it, but I can shave off most of it.
Yeah. He said, your upload speed is so fast it's getting to them day before it. You stream.
Good one, good one. Who's that, Ken?
It was. But I think someone else made a similar joke. Arts plunge. So the stream got to me before it ever happened. Nice product placement behind Cameron's shoulder there. Oh, other side. This is Amazon. We order many of our products there.
Oh, talking about product placement, I forgot to bring the mascot back downstairs. It's still
Oh, no.
upstairs. Suka, suka, suka.
Is the ceiling the same kind of woven strips of wood like the new print party has? It is similar.
It's similar. So this
But it's-
one is no.
Kind of a radial design, like is that the right word for it?
It's similar, though. No, the one we bought is a little bit different from this one. Okay, I finished this first one, sir. Can you get it back in that
Okay,
plastic bag?
yes.
Or will it goes in,
Okay.
you know, so it's going to roll over. So it goes in face, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's design 16 sets going in a circle around the ceiling.
Actually, if you can't do it then, just leave it. We'll do it later because I want to muck up the print. So it's all good. So let's do it on a proper table later.
Okay. I can't do anything.
So just stack them up. Here,
Yeah.
just stack them up on top of it. Whatever.
Next one.
Without a table. So I'm just gonna- This is nice washi, you know, this paper from the 60s, and so it's just so nice. Every time I touch it and look at it and see it, I'm just so envious. The young guy, Nicholas, we were talking about him before, you know, setting up the new workshop now in Fukui, and the sort of ultimate goal for him, he doesn't want to promise this, but his ultimate goal is he's looked at the Meiji paper, the prints we have here made on paper back in the Meiji
Right.
time, I don't have any Meiji paper, but I got, prints made on paper. He's looked at it and thought, and he's just like, I want to do that. And this is just what we need. We need another crazy guy
Yep.
who's going to take this completely unbelievable goal,
Yeah.
that no sensible person
Do
would
it.
do, and then do it.
Is he or where's he sourcing his fibers?
Well, we from the stack we have downstairs, and
okay.
that's why we're buying fiber.
Got it. Okay.
And we talked yesterday. We had the fiber supplier and Nicholas and me and Moix and all together Monday afternoon.
Okay. They're commenting on the gradations and the gorgeous blue on
Hmm.
that one. That is a very
Can we
nice
get
print.
back? So they're not making stuff like this anymore. When I saw this on Yahoo Auctions, the advantage, it wasn't a single print on the auction site, it was a set, which means your typical casual viewer, it goes too expensive.
Yeah.
And for
Because you're
me, I
getting
don't
10
care.
prints or
I'm
however
ha-
many.
So.
Yeah.
Let me get the light. Can you see that then? If you zoom out a bit more. They're imitations of paintings, So all the gradations are imitation of the way the painting was made. And this is a shibori tie-dye pattern. So it's got all these tiny dots and tiny dots. And the stuff that's not showing on the screen, there's a Shomenzuri red pattern and then a
Yeah.
gold pattern printed on top of that. I'm like, what?
How did you do that? Wow, that is unbelievable.
Is it showing?
Yeah, yeah.
This is a
it looks
woodblock
beautiful.
print,
Wow. That's gorgeous.
And it's got the mica powder in the background. Cool to show.
Yeah, people are saying amazing. Wow, whoa, wonderful. Can you opine about Shinhanga? I happened to be looking through a book about it yesterday. That's what Sponge says.
That's really, we love it. We've got as much of it as we can get here. The prints we're making, a lot of them are sort of blending over into Shinhanga. Some of the work I've done with Jed is a Shinhanga style work.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked about it before. I think myself, a lot of the stuff that was made was tourist schlock.
Mm. Yeah.
It was done for the exotic, quaint Japan tourist market.
Yep.
So it wasn't sort of intellectually honest work artistically, but who cares? It's just so freaking beautiful. I don't care.
Yeah. They're asking, is that mica in the background?
Yes, it's powdered mica. The print would have been printed with a colored background in this sort of goldy color that you see, a sandy goldy color, and then mica powder would have been sprinkled on top and brushed off. I think we've recovered this one here at Cameron.
Yeah, that one looks great.
I wish they'd have taken a bit more time and trouble when they were making it. This is bark, shitty bark left in the paper. I think. Let's see if it'll come off. Oh no, it's not. It's just dirt. Oh, there we go. Okay, we can't get it 100% off. I don't want to chew up too much of the paper, but we've got the biggest blotchiness away. It doesn't catch your eye anymore. Okay, one done. Hi. One more coming.
Aeromath says that print is literally the most beautiful one I have ever seen. It is very nice.
It's going in the shop this morning. It'll be Ichiman Nissan, 12,000 yen.
So come on over.
There's another one. I got 3 of these. They're supposed to be, what they are. They did them as 3. And they're all, it's interesting, they're not reproductions of ukiyo-e prints. They're reproductions of designs from before multicolored printing was invented. So the original of these particular objects would have been a painting.
Okay.
So there would be 3 paintings. And it would be late 1600s, early 1700s.
Beautiful. That gold shine is amazing. Saying.
Oh, in her throat there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually, it's probably not gold. It's probably some kind of bronze powder. I'm not quite sure. Look at that. Hey,
It's beautiful.
it won't be real gold. It'll be a gold colored.
Hmm.
Well, I'm not sure, because this is 1960s. If it was bronze, it would have gone green by now, so I don't know what it is. It could be gold powder, but I wouldn't advertise it as such. Real gold print. It's usually, for these metallic pigments, it's usually a bronze or a mixture of copper and stuff like that.
cousin Octavius' evening owl just got home from work.
Oh, so this wasn't supposed to be a show and tell thing. It
Yeah.
was just supposed to be a Dave does his work.
But the prints are so interesting, it's got to be a little bit of show. Just got home from work to find a nice envelope marked Mokuhankan on my
Really?
doormat.
It's an owl or something. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I don't know what the
Yeah, is it
subscription print.
Subscription or something you've ordered? Not sure. But
I had to pay for these, but luckily, you know, whoever else was bidding against me gave up first. You know, I win some and I lose some. You know, that you know, those cinch after prints I wanted the other week. You know,
Yeah.
oh my God, they were so beautiful. The Suikoden, done in Kuniyoshi style, and it was about 30 small prints, and I gave up at just about $400. It was long past the value that we would be able to pay for putting them in the shop.
got it.
It was into the value of I'm paying, you know, retail price, which means for my own collection.
Right.
But it went even higher than I can afford to pay.
Wow.
If I didn't, you know, wasn't running this business, I could, you know, use some of my personal resources for my collection. But I don't. I can't do that anymore. You know,
Yeah.
whatever resources I have now just get turned back here. So I'm not really increasing my own personal collection anymore. I can't afford to quote waste unquote money like that these days. Yeah.
Yeah.
On my own camera, I don't know why I can't
Yep,
see.
you're. It's a little washed out, too bright.
Oh, because that thing, yeah.
But
So-
the
'cause
camera
if I
is
get-
just struggling to keep up
I
with the
need the
brights and
light,
the
so
darks.
I
Yeah.
need the light for it. I'm sorry, Jeff. I
Think. It's the summer 2018 Patreon chibi. Yay! I'm glad it's arrived.
Oh, so there they are. They're getting out there.
Yep.
Oh, the new batch then.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
one
okay.
of the
So I
new
haven't. That's the
designs.
first I've heard. Yeah. So that's the water trough there with the
Yeah.
Good.
Kevin B, 1976. Man, I'm still waiting on some picture of Dave's personal collection. We'd like to see more of that personal collection.
Picture of personal.
Conceptualization. We'll want to see more of the prints you have in your own.
Yeah, whatever. Bit by bit, we'll be doing it. You know.
Yeah.
So once the collection comes to Asakusa here, after we've got the first floor up and running,
Yeah.
then we'll renovate that room.
Mhm.
You know, bit by bit. It's okay.
David's Choice series.
Yeah. So
500
so,
episodes.
So, or whatever. And again, nothing Sotheby's level, nothing expensive, nothing rich, nothing famous, just simply, I hope, interesting.
Yeah.
I have to be careful how much to dig here. This is really pressed into the paper. If I dig too much, it'll leave a hole in the paper.
Yeah, I'm saying, don't bother with the light, Dave, as long as the patient doesn't
Yeah,
go to the light.
so exactly. So this is literally surgery. I think I'll call it on that one at that. I can't pretend that there's no pigment there, but at least I get the worst of the what's in your face, the eye. You know. One more out.
There we go.
Now these next few are different. These next few, it's from the same maker, and it's a series of 3. And again, these 3 were originally paintings, and these were paintings by Katsukawa Shuncho. Let me get it out of here first, and I'll show you. These were large scroll paintings, a set of 3 of them. I think there was a set of 4 originally, and one has been lost, the original paintings. It was moon, snow, flowers, I forget the 4th one because I've never seen it because it
Tree or
doesn't
water
exist.
or
So I don't
something?
know. So. And this publishing company back in the 60s decided to make print reproductions of the original paintings. And the original paintings are huge. They're like 1.5 meters tall, full of detail. And this is a woodblock printed version of them done in quite small scale. And this must be
Is
is
that a
the
little
snow.
dog down
I think
there?
it's an animal. You tell me. What are we looking at? Is it supposed to be a cat? Supposed to be a dog? I can't tell. Same thing with these ukiyo prints.
Yeah, not sure.
I'll leave it open.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Tanuki. No. They're a little bigger.
And it's nice. There's opaque pigments here on top of this kimono. And again, I'm not sure how much would show. If I zoom in again, I don't know. I'm sorry. This is not the best light to show these things. You know.
The Japanese ferret is their suggestion.
No, I don't think so. Not with that tail. I think it's supposed to be a dog. I think,
Yeah.
with that long tail. I don't know.
Very skinny dog. The blue on the shade is the new, most beautiful blue this person's ever seen. It's gorgeous.
There's a real mix of colors here. We've got red from when they printed this. There's orange from when they printed this. Dark from when they printed the lines. They're all mixed together. You know. They just didn't care. The printers just didn't care. You know. This is thinner paper than that last one. I gotta be careful here. Limited in how much I can shave off.
Yeah. Smallest ant. What website are you talking about?
No, you're doing me.
No, one of these people in chat a little while ago said website layout looks nice, subscription page not so well. So maybe they had trouble with the subscriptions. Not sure. Let me know a little more detail, see if it can help out. But
Website is chaos, yes. Admitted, guilty as charged.
guilty as charged. Joe Reese VT asks, how long did it take for natural vermilion to fall out of use? Or when did it fall out of use, I guess?
I can't answer. Some people are still using it, you know, whatever. It's very expensive. We don't use it for a couple of reasons, because it's too expensive, for a few reasons. It's very expensive, I mean hugely expensive. It fades, oxidizes very, very quickly. And also it's hugely toxic. Mercury, it's sulfur and
Oh, it's
mercury.
got-
And I got girls working upstairs, and you know, so that's three strikes for me and we're gone.
Yeah.
And I don't think we need it. You know, you're not going to be able to. The number of people that will be able to look at the finished print and detect that that pigment had been used is few and far between. You know,
Yeah.
there's few prints that we make that need a vermilion color per se. You know, if you're making this red, for example, we could have mixed it with vermilion and something else, and now we would just use another item to mix it. You know.
Yeah.
So I got to say, really, we don't really need it. You know, our workshop is not trying to be a workshop where we do what's the word? I don't know. Exactly the way it's done back in 1640 without change. You know, one of those, I don't know,
Conservation Society thing.
or whatever. You know, where you're trying to do it without change. And
Yeah.
no, we're changing and using stuff that makes sense in a modern environment. You know? And that pigment is one perfect example of this. You know?
Yeah. Tutilis is my guess on pronunciation here, but asks, how could the printers in the past not care about those printed edges? Were the prints framed in a mat that would have covered the spots you're cleaning up?
No, these weren't framed at all. They were put out in those paper folders, you know. No. Again, because the people who make these prints see this as part of the object itself. They wouldn't have seen it as a defect. Even the printer now, like, you know, Itakurusan, we got those prints from Dovehanga last week.
Yeah.
He doesn't see it as a defect.
Hmm.
He's a printmaker, so he thinks that's what a woodblock print looks like.
Interesting.
And I get it, you know, of course I get it. But our consumers see it as a different object. Especially, I guess, maybe this is part of a generation thing. These days, when we buy consumer products, they're expected to be perfect in terms of no scratches, no dings, no scrapes, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
I guess, you know,
Yeah.
the objects, the banana in the grocery store has to be the perfect curve and the perfect shape, and when it's not, you know. And when
Yeah.
I was a kid, it was a bit more easygoing and free, you know.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of bananas there, they're all different shapes, whatever. You pick one up and eat it, you know.
Yep.
So I think it's a bit of expectations and the way of thinking has changed a little bit. You know, I'm not really quite sure. I'm just thinking out loud here.
That is interesting, because I think in the States, or grocery stores with fruit, they tend to be kind of like you were just describing, where some look way better than others, some are newer, some are older, they're just all different shapes and sizes. But And the grocery stores here in Japan,
Oh, yeah.
they're just all perfectly
Or
uniform.
people won't buy them, you know. There's a bit of a movement coming back, you know, because Japanese consumers have recognized that it's gone a bit too far in that
Yeah,
sense.
they
And
just
there's
throw
way too much
away all
waste.
the
So there's way too much
the
waste
fruits
and
that
stuff.
this one's got a little bump.
Yes, because it doesn't look perfect. So.
Yeah. But the store, we found one near us that has a huge section on, like, ugly goods, essentially, is how I would translate the tag
The
they put
bargain
on
corner.
them. Yeah. But they taste exactly the same, and so
But
we
you're
get
an
a lot more
American.
fruit
You're
than we
an
could
American.
yeah.
You know, so.
We get a lot more fruit than we could normally afford because we don't care that
What it
it
looks like, yeah.
yeah, we don't care that it looks
Well,
a
here
little
with
different.
woodblock prints too, you know. So
Yeah.
this clearly is a society where appearance counts more than it does in some other societies. You know.
Mhm.
It's part of it is this home tatamai business, you know,
Yeah.
right? The face up front and what's really behind it. you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
You can overanalyze these things, I think.
Oh yeah.
But no one's going to buy foam with a scratch on it, period. You don't
Yeah.
want that. You demand something different.
Arts Plunge says, I don't mean to be a purist about this, but would there be any benefit to educating the consumer that these marks are part of the work? I'm cringing a bit watching these marks being removed.
It's also, well, that's what I said. That's what I've been doing. I've been trying to tell the consumers, no, look, that's part of the product. And you see this lady looking at you like, oh, yeah, you're a snake oil salesman trying to talk up, you know. You go and buy a used car and there's one wheel is missing and isn't there a problem? And the guy says,
No,
no,
it's a
this-
tricycle.
Whatever. So, you know, and we get that. So what can I say? You know, and like I said, I'm not going back to zero. I'm not cutting more paper than I'm just getting rid of the darkest, most, what's the word? Midatsu, I know.
The ones that stick out the most.
So. I can't clean this back to zero. I can't do that.
Yeah.
And I myself, too, I think this shouldn't be here. I mean, even as a printmaker, this should not be here. The guy should have been more careful, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm with the consumers on this, you know.
Yeah.
It could have been done with a bit more care, a bit more neatly, and a bit
Mhm.
cleanly, you know.
Yeah.
It's no good for me to say, well, the printer doesn't care.
Yeah.
That's wrong, because, you know, you make things for consumers, you know.
Yeah. Joe Reese, again, is the story about the fruits at grocery stores. He's right, a lot of different fruit have been bred for appearance rather than taste.
I
Like
guess,
the
yeah.
Red Delicious apple. Have you heard about
No,
that in the
I don't
US?
know
Oh,
about
it was
it.
a famous fruit, and when it first came out, it was a pretty bright red and delicious, but they just kept trying to get it more and more beautiful, and so now it's just red, no longer delicious. It's got like a thick, tough outer skin, but it's beautifully bright red and shiny, but it tastes, someone says,
Are you
it
talking
tastes
about-
like paint.
You're talking about current generation right now? Or
Yeah, right now in the US, and so I remember learning about it in a business class. They said Americans have essentially stopped buying them, and so we're exporting them from the US all over to China, because in
Because
China
they know
they
the
love the
difference.
bright red apples.
So good,
Red
so
is such a
good. Yeah.
good color. Like, and so in China they're buying tons of them because they're beautiful, but they taste awful. Interesting discussion about stream. We dropped some frames briefly, but I think we're back.
We drop frames at that upload speed?
Yeah,
No other software running on the machines.
only 0.7%, but they were all in a quick succession. But it looks for all. R.I.P. Un-R.I.P.
Mm-hmm.
They always say R.I.P. when it dies, or RIP, and then some unrip. Like, oh, it's back up. Not down. Dropped into a slideshow instead of...
Really? For everybody or for some?
Yeah, it looks like a lot of people were having it, but we're back to normal, so it's okay. It was about 10 seconds, they said.
Starting at 9 o'clock? What time was it?
9:15. Favorite apple is the russet, but I can't find them anywhere. I think a russet's a potato.
That's what I thought too. That's why you can't find them. I'm looking at
Yeah.
the wrong shelf. Are
Yeah.
we confusing words there or something?
Maybe. Wow, that's a big section right there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm doing here. You can only do this when there's enough thickness in the paper.
Mm.
The kind of paper we use for the Great Wave, for example, it's so thin, there's no way. You can't do this.
Why does the Great Wave require thinner paper?
Ukiyo-e, it's basically ukiyo-e prints
Hmm.
that don't have much color layering
Hmm.
in comparison with something like Shinhanga, the genre that somebody mentioned a few minutes ago.
Right.
And for Shinhanga prints, because there's so much color layering, you need a paper with more depth, physical
Mm.
depth. And this one too. These are made with quite a good papers.
Huh. Apparently potatoes could be with the words in French and Dutch and perhaps other languages. It's actually earth apple. That's the term.
Russet, is that what it means?
For at least the word for potatoes in several languages could be translated directly as earth apple. So maybe that's how there was some confusion. I don't know.
Must be Suga-san, maybe. Come on.
You're so good at this, maybe you should consider opening a tattoo removal service.
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of brain surgery, actually.
Brain
but whatever.
surgery.
Oh, look at that, nice. Now we get the DR Bull joke comes in, of course. There was a woman in one of the print parties last week. She was a doctor.
Hmm.
And she kept letting us know she was a doctor. It just came up in conversation. We're making a woodblock printing. Yet somehow in the conversation, almost everything she said came out to be something to do with doctors and letting us know she was a doctor and whatever. And it got sort of, the other couple who were here sort of were like looking around.
おはようございます。
Morning, Shiba-san, hello. So I couldn't resist. I had to drop in and say, actually, I too am a doctor. And she looked at me. She's like, is he joking? What is he? Or is he? He's a doctor of arts or something like
Yeah.
this. So I just got out the piece of paper and showed her. The usual. If I'm on screen, whatever.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
My name is Bo. My first name is David. And my second name is Roy. And there we have it. She didn't think it was funny.
You didn't think it was funny? That's too bad. We've got some people asking, is ukiyo-e your favorite style of print, or do you have another favorite style or movement or genre of prints?
Well, this comes up quite a lot, and sometimes when I say things, people get surprised at what I'm going to say. So I'm not specifically really interested in the art itself, in the objects that are depicted, whatever. For me, clearly the attraction is the physical thing that we're looking at here. The combination of paper and pigments and light and the way it all comes together. You know. So I'm not specifically interested in the art as it is. It's the object that I like interested in. So no, I don't really discuss much about stuff. You know, over the years, because I've been playing with these things so much, I've come to learn a bit about it, and you know, this and that. I'm a quasi-expert on this now, just through having accumulated so much knowledge. But my basic, you know, what's your favorite kind of art? What's your favorite artist? What kind of picture? These are not thoughts or anything that come into my mind at all. You know. For me, it's very much the manufacturing process, the object, the physical stuff, the paper and the wood and the tools and things like that. You know. But having said that, someone who, you know, isn't an expert on the ukiyo-e itself, it's funny that there was a woman in the shop, was it not yesterday, Monday or Sunday, I can't remember, you know. She was starting to ask questions about the content of the print. So this actor, what is the name of the play he was in and stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
And some I could answer, some I couldn't answer, and our discussion devolved into, you know, what's the difference between the content of these things and the object themselves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think I had said something like, you know, whatever, all of these prints have stories. There's something so cool about every one, you know. So she sort of challenged me a little bit. She went to the shelf of prints that I'd made, just picked one and said, what's the story for this print? And she picked up one that was really, the one with the hook side where it cut off the top of Mount Fuji or something.
Oh, yeah.
So I could decide to. And it was a real good story. I said, wow. So she picked up another one. What's this? And whatever, there is a story. I mean, the prints I've made over the years,
Yeah.
the reason I've picked that design, the reason I did this, while I was carving it, I researched it.
Yeah.
So the stories and stories and stories and episodes are just coming out. We could do a David's Choice on every single one of the prints in our shop. We could do a 5, 10, 15, 20-minute video because there's so much detail. Any random print,
Yeah.
we could just start digging and digging and digging and digging and look at this, and why is her nose this shape, and why is the hair ornament this shape,
Yeah.
and why are there 2 lines here at each of these hair things, and how is that gradation made, you know.
Yeah.
There's just endless stories
Yeah.
that come with my, 40 years of experience at playing around with these
Yeah.
things. You know, so I'm no expert at all. I don't really know much about these at all in the academic expertise sense of it. But down at the end of my hands, because I've been playing with them for so long, there is a whole bunch of knowledge here. You know. So it's really fun when we have those kind of discussions in the shop. You know.
Yeah.
And stuff that I don't realize that they don't know, but that comes out in these talks and stuff. And I think I've got one left. Are we okay for time? What's happening here?
Yeah,
What's this one on to?
9:23, 24.
And we're very light on print parties today. I think for the first time now, is it in longer than I can remember, there are actually, I believe, no reservations this morning. So we're dead. We're in trouble. Our business is over. Our life is dead.
Oh no.
And we are all so happy we want to
Start
break.
packing
you
my
know.
things.
So-
We're shutting up shop. Closing up shop.
Are
Now
so
they ask,
nice.
how is that gradation made? On that one up
Well,
here.
it was Atenashi Bokashi. It was Atenashi Bokashi. It's a gradation made with no carving at all. In fact, that's the same thing. There's one here too.
Yeah.
There's a gradation here gradually floating up. Look at this. There's a gradation here, and there's no wood. So the guy just has to remember where to brush. It's like a woman putting a bit of blush on her cheek or something with a bit of
Yeah.
makeup. It's not. It's done almost the same way too, with delicate rubbing in one area. So there are gradations that are carved, there are gradations that are swept up, and there are gradations like this, which are atenashi, shapeless. Atenashi, no shape gradations.
Yeah.
And so many details. You know, her little pens and brushes. And I think we can do a bit more storage. Look at this. There's a careless ink spot here. They just didn't care, you know. We would never send a print out like that knowingly.
Yeah.
Having said that, remember we got that feedback last week? One was the people about the Mystique series. You know,
Yeah.
He sent the image and I couldn't believe we'd sent that out, you know.
Yeah.
I screwed up big time on that one, you know, big time. I don't know how it got through, but I checked that whole batch, and yet there it is, the inconvertible evidence of a crap print that we sent out. And I'm just so glad he took the trouble to write instead of just sitting on it thinking Mokuhanga, what a bunch of crap stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So that was embarrassing.
Safia.
Good morning, good morning. Hello,
Ohayou
Suga-san.
gozaimasu. It's nice you still do some research and bring up points that you notice from your own experience as well. My family is a family of academics, and it can get so boring to hear
な
someone.
んか落ちた。ごめんなさい。誰の？ケビンじゃなくて。
ケビンって誰？
ケビンじゃなくて。キャメロンさんのカメラ？すいませんでした。ケビンって誰じゃ？
誰じゃ？
誰じゃ？
It's okay, camera. So
Kind of
boring.
got to get cleaned up in here pretty soon, I think. But it's getting a bit ridiculous now.
Yeah. Boring to hear someone drone on about something that they've read in a book but never actually tried. Family studies about, but doesn't do stuff. Ohayou gozaimasu.
ああ、そうか。じゃあ、who's in today?
はい。
今日の担当は誰？
はい、柴さんと
渋さんと小泉さん。
はい。
レイちゃんは？
いない
ね。OK。初めて渋さんと？
いや、2回目。初
日本。OK。
めて柴さんと。
This is what fell.
1回のシャッター開けちゃっていいですかね。
あ？
1回のシャッター。
開けてください。はい、もちろん。
はい。
There's no way I can get all this corner. It's pressed in too hard.
Mm.
The ones that just touch the surface, you can get them. That's fine.
Yeah, just
But
shave
once
off
they're
the top.
once it's pushed into the paper down in deeply, there's no way you can get it.
Mm. Too bad.
I can't get that one. It's right down into the paper.
Some prints are made with copper parts in some blocks, is that right? Would the wood carver also do those parts if the tool's the same?
Copper. I don't know what we're talking about.
I'm not sure.
We're talking about a metal block. Some of the
Yeah,
kuchi were
perhaps
made
so.
with metal key blocks. We
Hmm.
talked about that before.
Yeah.
There's no other metal, and some of the prints have metal powders inside the pigments.
Yeah.
I don't have one here. One of the ones I passed a few minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
That had copper powder maybe mixed into the pigment. So I'm
Yeah.
not sure what the question is.
Yeah, but no one
Is it-
was carving copper.
No carved copper. They were copper plate engravings. That
Yeah.
wasn't ukiyo-e style, of course.
Mm-hmm.
You can't use water-based pigments for a copper plate.
Yeah.
And if I can't get that, there's no way. If I try and get that, I'll just destroy the print. So
Yeah.
that's going to have to sit with this one as it is. There's stuff I can do and there's stuff I can't do. No, we'll leave that.
Yeah, so as I was thinking of metal blocks, yeah. So
Yeah, the kuchi were made with metal key blocks. So we've got a video about that on our YouTube channel. So. Okay, there we go. Good. These are going in the shop. I'd really like to get some of these in the flea market online, you know, but
Yeah.
whatever. There's just no easy way to do that. So.
people are saying, who's Kevin? Why was Suga-san talking about Kevin? Maybe Kevin is a swear word in Japan.
No, I think she just mixed up Cameron, Kevin, close
Yeah.
enough, whatever. So it's okay. Forget her name
Yes.
sometimes.
It's okay.
So it's too bad. I can't get closer than that. So.
Yeah. That's very nice.
Okay, I think, sir, it's time for me to get busy with other work today. You know, it hasn't been a super instinct stream. It's been a bit mixed, doing those share certificates first, which had to be done,
Yeah.
and then doing this work. Tomorrow's stream will be, what will tomorrow's stream be? Today's Wednesday, Thursday. I think I'll probably be back to work on a microwave. We've got one block left now. Just one block left on the microwave. So what I'll be doing then, probably, it will be, I'll sit here again, I'll take a proof of this and then paste it down onto a new block and we'll be carving the sky.
Nice.
That should be, I'll leave it here. That should be tomorrow's work, I think, unless there's something else that I haven't remembered about that's going to interrupt it. I don't know.
Okay.
But there will be a stream tomorrow, yes.
Okay. Sounds great. We will see you all tomorrow. Have a good
Thanks, gang. Thanks very much. So,
Have a good one. Okay, this camera's off. Hot night.
ready to go? Thank you.
Ready to go.